Hello and welcome to the 29th edition of Drive Through Review. Today we're going to be talking about Asara. It is or was the 2011 Spiel des Jahres nominee and actually was uploading this video. And then the announcement came through that another game won it. And so it seemed kind of silly because I was sort of like wondering if it was going to win and then the video would be up after it won. It lost or didn't lose, but it didn't win, I guess. Um, so anyway, so I thought I'd redo the intro and some of the parts of the video and re-upload it. The game's great. I like it. It's a good family game, not too heavy, not too light. It is very light though. It uses card play in sort of a new way, I guess, new for me. And the components are great. They're very lush, very colorful, very vibrant colors. The board fits together really well. I wish more European style games would take the extra year or whatever it is, because a lot of work went into these components. And I wish some games that were more heavy games, more gamer games, would spend the extra time and make a really nice quality game. And I know it's tough; it's money, down the drain maybe, but it's a pipe dream. But anyway, enough about components. Let's get into the game and see how it works, and I'll share my thoughts.
Alright, so how do you play Asara? Well, basically the objective is to build a variety of towers in different colors and different heights. And you want to build the most variety of towers that you possibly can. You want to build the most total number of towers. And you want to try to build the towers the highest that you can. Now the way that you're going to do that is you're going to place workers into the different areas of the board here. And the workers are represented by these cards. And you're going to start with a hand of cards. Every player is going to have either 7 to 9 cards in their hand, depending on how many players are in the game. And there's 5 different colors. There's no value to the cards. They're just basically the color of the card, and that's all that's important about them. Now you're going to take and you're going to play these cards into the different areas out here on the board. And this is a really modular board. So you can see all these corner pieces here. They just come right out there, and then if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see that the center piece here, these square pieces that fit in the center are sort of like a puzzle. So a couple of these modular triangle pieces here at the top, these are actually part of the advanced game, but I've gone ahead and set that up. It's not really that advanced. I wouldn't recommend playing without them. So here's an example of a tower that you may build. You can see that there's 4 different pieces here, and you've got a top and then 2 sort of middle pieces and this bottom piece here. Now a tower must have at least a bottom and a top, and when you initially construct a tower you've got to at least have those 2 in the tower. At a later time, if you choose, you can go in and add as many middle pieces as you want. You can see there's 2 kinds of middle pieces. There's sort of these short and fat ones and these sort of skinny ones here. And when you initially construct the tower you can have them in there, but you can also come back later and add them on a later turn. And these skinny ones here, you can actually put sort of lighted windows on these, and that's part of the advanced game, but I will cover that here. So that you can actually have sort of 2 pieces of cardboard here, and that'll score you some extra points. The other thing to note here is some of these tower pieces have these little ornaments on them, which are always represented by gold emblems. And those will score you points at the end of each round for each piece that you have that has an emblem on it. So what you're going to be doing on your turn is simply playing cards to any of the areas out here on the board and then taking the action of that area. So if I wanted to acquire a top piece to one of these towers, I could take a card. Let's say I want to take this purple guy, put him in that place there, and then I can now have the right to go and purchase any of these face-up tower tops. Well, you can see the cost here. So if I zoom in a little bit, now the white pieces cost 8, black 6, red 5, green 4, and brown 3. And that's the same for all pieces. If I buy a base or I bought a middle piece, it's the same price for all the colors. So if I wanted to go and buy this white piece here, which also has got a nice little decoration on it, I'd have to pay 8 coin. and then my turn would be over. And I should mention that everybody starts the game with about 20 coins. It depends on the player order, but you start with 20 coins, and then each round you'll get a new 20 coins. But that is not going to be enough to sustain yourself. There are ways to get coins. So let's continue here. So if somebody else wanted to come in and they wanted a top piece on their turn as well, well, now they're forced to have to play a purple card here. So they can play a purple card and then do the same action that I took, or they have the option of taking any two other cards, putting them face down, and then putting them there, and then they have the right to go and buy something as well. But they cost them 2 cards this time instead of 1. So each of these spaces basically plays the same way as this space. Whoever gets the first card in there is sort of the lead on that. It's sort of like a trick, you know, taking a trick in like hearts or teach you or something, you know, a little bit. And then whoever else follows that and maybe wants to go there has to follow color or waste 2 cards. So let's go to each space and I can kind of show you what each space does. Now this space here in the corner is a way to get money. So the first person to go here can, maybe I'll pay an orange card here and I will get 8 coin. The next player to come in will actually get more money, but remember the first player, he got to, you know, establish what color that's going to be. So somebody else could come in there and take 10 coin if he followed with an orange. There's a special space on this particular side where if you put any one face down card, you can get 5 coins. So if you've got nothing else to do, you can at least throw a card away and get 5 more coins. This space here is where you will get a middle piece, and it's the same as basically the top piece area. And you can put a card here, you pay X number of coins based on the color, and then you get to acquire one of those pieces. Now this is one of the advanced spaces. What you can do here is you can play a card, and the first player in there pays 0 coins. He can play a card there, and then he can just draw 2 cards off the top of the draw deck. So if you're looking for, you know, some better cards that'll let you go into places and follow other colors that have been established, here's a good spot. The second and third player have to pay a little bit of coin on top of that. This space is for the bases. Same deal. You put a card down, you have to follow the color or pay 2 face down cards and you get a base. Now this is a real interesting spot here, and I'll talk a little bit more about these when I talk about the scoring at the end of the game. But these are all face down here, and these are basically the lighted windows I was telling you about. And these will add points and help break ties at the end of the game. What you do here though is if you play a card, say I wanted to play that green one, I have a choice here. I can either look at the top 3 in the stack and then keep one of the windows, or I can pay 10 and look at the top 5 and keep 2 of them. And then you put the rest that you didn't keep underneath the bottom. This space is simply another place to get tiles, and these are the little skinny middle pieces. Same deal. Put a card down, maybe 2 cards, follow the color, you're good to go. Now this last space here has a couple of things going on. First is this top area where you're having the turn track follow. There's going to be 4 turns or 4 years in the game, and you just advance that at the end of every turn. And then there's basically 2 spots you can go. This spot will let you take the start player marker from whoever is currently the start player, and this will score you a point at the end of each round. And you can just put any one card in there and only one person can go in there. And this space is not joined with these 2 spaces, so if somebody were to lead here with blue, that doesn't mean that this person has to do blue. These are the only ones that are joined. This one is called the bribery space, and it's pretty interesting. So, and I think it's really, don't forget this space, let's say, and people I've seen forget, oh, I can go there. So what you can do here is you can go here, and you can, the first person can pay 3 coin, the second person to follow will pay 5 coin. Well, you go here, you pay your 3 coin, and then you can go to any of these type of spaces here where you can get the pieces, and then you can buy the piece. So basically it's a way of, it's going to cost you 3 coins instead of 2 cards if you couldn't follow whoever was in there. Maybe you're conserving your cards, but you're doing well on coins, so you can pay that extra 3 coins and then go buy whatever you want from here. And the next person pays 5 and they can go buy without having to place a card in the actual area that's for that piece. Oh, and I almost forgot this space, probably the most important space in the game, is if you want to actually take the action of building your tower, you've got to play a card here. And this is a really fun little space, because what you do is you take a card, and let's say nobody's played here yet. If I wanted to build a tower, or more than one tower, and I wanted to use 3 pieces of cardboard, I'd put this down here, and then I have to pay 3 coin, which means I could build up to that many. So I could go and build this tower if I wanted to. Now let's say somebody else had already gone there, and I only had 3 pieces I wanted to build. Well, I'd have to go here and pay 4 coins, putting 2 face down, and then I could still only build 3. And when you do that, you score 1 point basically for each piece of cardboard that you use. So if you used, you know, your tower was 3 spaces high, but you had a window on top of that for your 4th piece of cardboard, you'd score 4 points. 1 point per piece of cardboard. Now everybody's going to start the game with these little shields here. And these are kind of interesting because they're not a flimsy, you know, sort of paper like everybody else. They actually come in these pieces, so you can fit these here, like so. And they give you sort of they give you the cost for all of the tile based on color. And this here section here is for the end game scoring. And then this was for the end of the round scoring, so the little reminders. And then you hide all your money and your tiles behind this. So let's talk about the end of the round scoring. Now at the end of each round, you're going to get 1 point for having the first player marker. You're going to get 1 point for each tower that you've constructed, and 1 point for each piece with an emblem on it. So in this case, if I had constructed that tower with the red piece, I'd get an extra point for each emblem I have on that. Now if a window was covering one of those pieces, so if I had a tower piece like this, but I had a black window on top of it, then I'm not going to get the extra point for that. But the window's a good idea to have at the end of the game. So let's talk about the end game scoring at the end of round 4. There's basically 2 parts of this. There's the per color of tower, and then there's for your overall group of towers. So let's talk about this. So if you have the tallest brown tower, for example, you'll get 4 points. And if you have the second tallest, you'll get 2 points. And it's possible to have both of those, to have the first and the second tallest. If there's a tie, then you'll add up the points and then just divide them by the number of players that are tied. Now if you have a window, let's say each of us had a brown tower that was 3 spaces high, but I had a window on mine, then the window would break that tie. It doesn't actually add to the height of the tower, but if there's a tie, the window will break that tie. So green, first will get 6, second will get third, 8 and 4, 10 and 5, 12 and 6. So you can see the white towers are a little bit more valuable, and they seem to have more of these little emblems on them as well. And I could be wrong about this, but I don't think there's as many white pieces in the game. So this is a nice little way. If you diversify, you know, maybe you get some points for nobody's really going for black, so you can go and try to get that or whatever. And then over here on this side we can see, okay, first of all, you get 1 point for every 10 coins you have. And then if you have the tallest tower period of any color, you get 8 and then 4 for second place. And then again, windows will break that tie. And then over here is the most total number of towers, because you could build more than 1 red tower if you really wanted to, and you might if you're trying to get the most towers. So most gets 12 and second most gets 6. So you can see you're really trying to build a diversity of colors as much as you can, and you know, tall towers as well as, you know, just a total number of towers.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the overview of Asara. Yeah, like you can tell, it's a pretty light game. I think it's still a good, high quality game. I wouldn't dismiss it. I think it has the potential to be sort of a gateway into the worker placement genre for people. You know, maybe people will be more attracted to sort of the leading of the suits or the colors of the cards and sort of managing their hand that way as far as, you know, what you get what's the more valuable spaces to you and maybe to the other players. After a couple plays, there's definitely some strategy in there to, keeping track of what people have built already and what they have collected, and maybe blocking or going one route or another. There's not a whole lot to count there, because there's only, what, 4 or 5 different tower types, and you display your towers on the side of your screen there that you can see what people have built, how high exactly you need to get to beat. Let's say he's got a white tower that's 4 spaces. You know exactly what you need to do. You need to get 4 and a window, or just go straight to get 5 pieces, and everything's present on the board as far as what pieces are going to be available this round. So it's nice. It's straightforward and fun, and I can see why it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres award. Thank you.